Hi everybody, so today I'm doing my IPP presentation and I am doing it on the 7 ethical principles of hospitality management. Let's go ahead and get started. So here's my introduction. The hospitality industry just includes a lot of career fields, including hotels, restaurants, cruise ships, destination resorts, theme/recreation parks, and so much more. The hospitality management industry has a code of ethics that they are automatically expected to follow when they assume that position. When they decide to go to school for that, they have to assume that code of ethics, not only in their personal life, but in their business life as well. So the 7 main ethical principles of hospitality management that I have listed are honesty, loyalty, fairness, concern and respect for others, commitment to excellence, leadership, reputation, morale, and accountability. You can't be a successful manager in the hospitality industry if you don't follow these. So you can not only become a successful person, but a successful manager as well if you follow this ethics code. So to start on the first ethical principle, it is honesty. I mean, there's the saying, honesty is the best policy. Hospitality managers are truthful and honest. They do not mislead or deceive others by misrepresentations. So, an example of this would be at a hotel, they're selling you a room that says you're going to get free breakfast, you're going to get this and that, and they don't follow through, and they're still going to charge you as if you got all of those things. Hospitality is traditionally defined as a universal human virtue. So hospitality goes back to ancient times when you were hosting parties and you were having guests over and serving guests, and you have to be honest and you have to follow these principles. I mean, it just goes back to basic human nature. Although we might consider ourselves honest people, I mean, how many of us have ever copied a test, failed to claim tips, or neglect to tell a cashier that they've given us back too much change because, hey, I'll keep that $2. But although these might seem little, this can carry on into your business life. And you don't need that when you are in the hospitality business. The next principle I'm going to talk about is loyalty. So, according to Anil in his report on the 10 ethical principles, I've just kind of cut it down to 7 for time. Hospitality managers demonstrate loyalty to their companies in devotion to duty and loyalty to colleagues by friendship in adversity. So, not really becoming friends with your coworkers, but being there and being loyal to them. They avoid conflicts of interest, so staying out of politics, not talking about controversial things with employees and customers. They do not use or disclose confidential information. I mean, obviously this is important. You're dealing with people's credit cards, financial statements. You have to follow this. I mean, legally, you have to follow this. You cannot disclose confidential information. And if they should accept other employment, they should respect the propriety information of their former employer. So, I guess this might go back to being higher up, but being a CEO for one company and then going to another, you're not going to try to outdo that company. That is part of your ethics. The next principle I'm going to talk about is fairness. So hospitality managers are fair and equitable in all dealings. They do not abuse power arbitrarily nor take undue advantage of another's mistakes or difficulties. So, sorry, I had a thought. So, they're not going to take advantage of employees that may not understand. I mean, obviously, we've seen in the especially in the hotel industry, for hiring maids and things like that, cleaners, they often hire women, they often hire Hispanic women or women of color who may not be able to get jobs in other places. So you don't want to take advantage of them or their mistakes or their difficulties by making them work, a 12-hour shift because they may not understand that, but they'll do it anyway. They treat all individuals with equality, with tolerance for and acceptance of diversity, and with an open mind. I mean, this is just how you should treat people in general, but especially in the hospitality industry, you are there to make people happy. So when you are not following this fairness rule, you are discriminating. And discrimination includes, you can discriminate people because of their race, their social class, their age, their gender, their sexual orientation, their culture. I mean, in the hospitality industry, you are looking at such a big field that you're in there with a lot of people and a lot of different cultures, and you need to accept this and use it as a tool in your managing styles. The next principle is concern and respect for others. We kind of briefly touched on ethics in chapter 2 and talking about how treating, knowing what is right and wrong is just human nature. So hospitality managers are concerned, respectful, compassionate, kind. They're sensitive to the personal concerns of their colleagues and live by the golden rule. This was part of the rights and duties system that we looked at in chapter 2. I mean, the golden rule is a fundamental human obligation. So, not following this can result in legal consequences, but also consequences for your business as well. So, you can save your company a lot of hassle just by having common courtesy towards others and putting their safety first, especially in the hospitality industry. Safety is key. I mean, an example of this is Disneyland. You have a broken ride, you are getting those customers off of there right away. You are getting them down to a safe place. If it's raining, certain rides are canceled. You put their safety first. You put your concern for them first. One of the next principles I'm going to talk about is the commitment to excellence. And I really do feel a personal connection to this because I feel like people nowadays they do the bare minimum. But as a hospitality manager, especially like in the hotel industry and the restaurant industry, you have to go above and beyond for customers in order to get their satisfaction. We have a quote from Anil again. Hospitality managers pursue excellence in performing their duties and are willing to put more into their job than they can get out of it. So this would be under the consequential system that we talked about in chapter 2. Doing when you do more than what is expected. You kind of expect like a good outcome or better than you thought. And it's kind of in this, yeah, you say it's for others, but it's still in the self-interest theory, because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get that promotion, I'm going to get that raise. And of course you're thinking about the customers, but especially in the business industry, you have to think about yourself as well. So the next principle is leadership. And obviously, if you're going to be a manager of any sort, you have to follow the leadership aspect of it, because if you're not a leader, then why are you a manager? So they are conscious of the responsibility and opportunities of their position of leadership. They realize that the best way to instill ethical principles and ethical awareness in their organizations is by example. So a good way to do this, to have your code of ethics be followed in the hospitality industry, is not only following it yourself, but instilling it in your employees. So when you're training them, have them, learn this code of ethics. Like, you need to be honest, you need to be loyal, you need to be fair. Not only in the training for, learning the standards for, like, if you're in the food industry, the standards for cleanliness, but also the standards for human values, morals, this code of ethics that needs to be followed. The final one I want to talk about, and I kind of mishmashed two of them together. It was usually reputation and morale, and then accountability, but I kind of put them together in one, because I really feel like they go together. Hospitality managers seek to protect and build the company's reputation and the morale of its employees by engaging in conduct that builds respect, and by taking whatever actions are necessary to correct or prevent inappropriate conduct of others. I mean, this, if I had to conclude this, like right now, that would be the statement. Because why do we have this code of ethics at all? It's because we are building a reputation for our business, and we're building the morale of the employees, so we have a good reputation for our business, and we want people to conduct themselves in a good way and respectful way. So with accountability, hospitality managers are personally accountable for the ethical quality of their decisions, as well as those of their subordinates. So you are responsible for how you act, and as a manager, you're responsible for how your employees act. So if your employee is not acting respectful or fair or loyal, that comes back on you. This makes you not only morally responsible for your employees and customers, but legally as well. Because failure to be accountable can result in not only a bad reputation, but lawsuits. And that's the last thing you need as a hospitality manager. Okay, sort of wrapping this up, I just wanted to give a brief explanation of why I wanted to talk about the hospitality code of ethics. So in chapter 2, I was really interested in how each business or type of business has their own code of ethics, and I was doing research on this. And I'm looking to go into the customer service side of hospitality, and I wanted to explore their code of ethics, and I really believe that this is something that needs to be changed in the hospitality industry. It's something that we really need to focus on. Everybody asks me why I'm going into hospitality and why customer service, and I say because we need to be nicer to each other, just as a whole. But also, when we're in business, it's good to be nice to your customers. It pays. It literally does. And this project has not also shown me the code of ethics for hospitality, but it's also shown me that We obviously need to do more research on this topic, and we really need to refine our code of ethics for the hospitality industry. So before I go over my time, here's my conclusion. Failure to follow any of the code of ethics can result in not only moral consequences and loss of customers, but also legal consequences and a ruined reputation. I mean, that's self-explanatory. The hospitality industry relies on customer service and their reputation. And it's good not only to practice ethics in your personal life, but in your work life as well. So thank you for watching my presentation.